Hi everyone, and this is Professor Fernandez. I'm so excited that you are joining us here for English 1302. I wanted to do a quick video to show you guys how your online class is going to look like. So I have your class up right now. It's actually in wonderful student mode for me. Don't mind the 138 emails. I always have a lot of emails. They're not new emails, so you will not have 138 emails. So I wanted to go through this course for you or with you, so you understand where things are. So right now, what you see is kind of the beginning part of your class, which is the announcements page, and you know what the newest things are for the class. And what's going on. So this is your welcome right here, and there's a couple of things I want to kind of let you know about. Your class coursework begins on Tuesdays. I have several sections of English 1302, and it's easier for me to keep them all flowing in the same direction at the same time. So you may be seeing this wonderful video on Monday when school starts, which is great. You can actually start working on Monday. But for the rest of the class, your new coursework uploads Monday or Tuesdays at midnight, and then closes down Monday at 11:59 p.m. And so everything flows from there. So all your assignments are due on a Monday at 11:59 p.m. Your next modules are open Tuesdays at midnight, and it shall flow like that until the end of the semester. So just wanted to tell you that from the beginning. Alright, so let's go to content here, because I want to show you a couple of things that's going on in your course. Okay, so we have some wonderful things happening here. So, as you can see, your syllabus is here, and I'll click on that in a minute. You have a module called Welcome, Start Here. Now, I would love for you to go through this. There's not any coursework here, but there are materials here, like reference materials, that you're going to need for your class. You also have a really nifty video if you wanted to know more about your professor. So let's click on other materials that you're going to need. This is information that you're going to need to survive in the class. So, for instance, when you turn in your papers, you're going to turn in your papers electronically. You're going to upload your papers. So you're going to need to know how to check your comments on your papers. You're going to use the New York Times for a couple of discussion boards, so you're going to need to learn how to sign on to the New York Times. The campus pays for your New York Times account. So you don't have to pay for one. We have already paid for you. You just have to sign in with your lonestar.edu email. It teaches you how to log in to the databases, and not only is there like a PDF on how to do it, but there's like a video on how to access the databases for the library. This is something that we will use many, many, many times. So if you ever forget, here it is. Then you have writing lab hours, and yes, it will actually have your actual semester here. Where the writing lab is this semester, who you should go visit. I actually have a tutor that I recommend highly. Her name is Natalie Allen. So if you want to go to a tutor that knows my assignments fairly well, I would go to her, and I'll tell you where she's located at. MLA, of course, if you were in 1302, you had to play with MLA last year or last semester, or whenever you took it. So not only is there the MLA elements, but the style guide to MLA and how to write your paper in MLA formatting, which is very important. You have a direct link to the librarian here. And then you have one of the rubrics, or you'll have two of the rubrics that I use to grade this class. Let's go back here because I want to go and talk about the syllabus. So let's click on syllabus, and let's have a discussion here. So the syllabus is embedded right into the course, so you don't have to like click anywhere else. It's right into D2L. And I want to show you that my office hours are by appointment. So if you needed to see me, just let me know, hey, Professor Fernandez, do you have time on X day? I am on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays this semester, so Tuesdays and Thursdays are a better day to meet. If not, then you are welcome to contact me via Skype or via Google Hangout. And Google Hangout is very good because I can actually share my screen with you and we can talk about your papers or anything that's going on. So you'll see that I require 2 texts for this class. The Comp 2 class, the Comp 2 paper, which is the Arguing About Literature, and Monstrous Volume 1. I hope you liked Monstrous. I actually really like teaching it. Here are the learning outcomes, or things that you will know how to do by the end of this class, and some of the objectives that I'm going to be teaching you this semester. Critical thinking skills, communication skills, you'll be able to work in teams, and we'll talk about partial responsibility. I would read the essay scoring at your leisure, because this is actually your rubric. So I grade all papers, including journals, using this rubric. So you may want to read through it so you know what an A paper and a B paper and a C and a D paper look like. Okay, so the last day to withdraw, should you need to, is November 12th, of course. And here's the thing that I need everyone to understand here. I do not accept any late work. The deadlines are the deadlines, and once a module closes, it closes. So if it closes at 11:59 p.m. and you haven't turned in your paper thinking it was 11:50 or 11:57 and you still had 2 minutes left and it's closed, I do not open them back up. So please judge accordingly and plan accordingly. Okay? I only give makeup work on a case-by-case basis and only for extreme circumstances. If you want makeup work because you forgot to turn in a paper or you were late turning in a paper, because you didn't look at the time or any of those types of reasons, more than likely I won't give you makeup work. So please make sure that you plan accordingly. Alright, more items to read at your leisure. And I would read at your leisure since you have, hint hint, a syllabus quiz that goes with this. So you may want to read through things. I have highlighted this because this is something that's going to be very helpful to you. D2L is not in my purview. And what I mean by that is that if something happens in D2L that is beyond my control, for example, if you can't see something and the whole class can see a module and you can't see a module, I can't fix that. So you're going to need to call the help desk, which is right here. So have a very good phone call here. Or you can actually use the chat box that's in the D2L class. I personally would call them because more than likely if you need something, it's right away and they'll pick up the phone quick. So I would do that. So my big mantra for the class is if you come to class, which essentially you sign on, you do the work, you get the grade. And doing the work means everything from actually doing the paper or the discussion post to turning it in on time, making sure that the grammar is the best it can be, making sure that you write down what you actually meant to say. And if you do the work to the best of your ability and you come to class and you read what you need to read, you'll get the grade that you deserve. So it's not a, oh, Professor Fernandez didn't do this. Well, did you do this? Did you actually read? Did you research? doing the work doesn't mean you just turn something in. Okay? So let's go ahead and keep going here. Again, your modules begin on Tuesdays, and that means your work is due on the following Monday. So your modules go live at midnight on Tuesdays. Most of you will be sleeping. and then your work is due for the week is due at 11:59 p.m. on Monday. Again, I'm going to reiterate that D2L, or what is now known as daylight, closes at 11:59 p.m. their time, not the time on your cell phone or the time on the clock in your kitchen. So that means if I were you, I would plan 10 minutes ahead. So if you think you're going to be able to turn something in at 11:58, I would not do that, because that's asking for trouble. Would give yourself a deadline around 11:45. Everything should be pretty cool. If you turned in something, especially into D2L, like a paper, you should get a receipt, an emailed receipt. So if you don't get an emailed receipt to your D2L email that I received your paper, then I didn't receive your paper. Okay? Let's talk about your assignments. Again, not knowing how Microsoft Word works, not knowing how D2L works, is not an excuse for not turning in your paper. And I won't accept that as an excuse for your assignment. We are all adults here. You are an adult, and part of being an adult is making sure that everything is done correctly and that you understand how things work. If not, then getting help from the appropriate people to help you do things. So that's why that is highlighted here. We talked about the reference folder, and that is very important for you. You know, if you forget how to sign into the New York Times, if you forget how to go into the library databases, you forgot how to do MLA formatting, then that's where you go and find that information. Another thing that's highlighted that's very, very important, I do not accept late work. So makeup work is created upon the discretion of the professor for extreme circumstances. And by extreme, I mean you were attempting to turn something in, or you couldn't turn something in because a sick child that had to be rushed to the emergency room. Heaven forbid, but if that happens, I would call that an extreme circumstance. You were in the process of doing your paper when a big, huge family emergency happened, an unforeseen event happened, and you needed to drop everything and get things done. So those are what extreme circumstances are. I prefer if those extreme circumstances happen. I don't need to know the details of something. But if something happens, say there's a big emergency where you had to drop all your schoolwork and had to run to the aid of a family member, and you had to be away for a while, I would prefer a quick email saying, Professor Fernandez, I'm on my way to the hospital, something has happened. I will email you more details later, and then I can work with you when that happens. I cannot work with you if you email that after the deadline. If you email after the deadline, I can't work with you. It means anyone can say, oh, well, this happened, and did it really happen, or do you just want more time for your paper? Before, I just need a really quick one-line email, and we'll be fine. So before the due date. Alright, so assignment sheets. My class is situated with assignment sheets, and assignment sheets tells you what the assignment is, how long it must be, when it's due, what I'm looking for in a paper, and anything you need to know to do your assignment. Usually, if you have a question about the assignment, it's probably on the assignment sheet, so please read them 3 times before you ask questions about the assignment. I've been teaching this course for several semesters, and more than likely the answer's on the assignment sheets. If it's not, then I am intrigued, and I will definitely love to answer your question. The only thing that's not on the assignment sheet is or has an assignment sheet, are the journals, because the journals that you're writing, and you'll write a journal for everything that you read in this class, there is pretty much standing instructions. So for the journals, there are at least 1 page, more than likely 2 pages. If you want to go to 2 pages, that's fine. So there are at least 1 page, full page, not 3/4 of a page. I'm talking about a full page with maybe a line or 2 on the next page, right? So full 1 page, double-spaced reflections on what you have read. Each of the journals should talk about what you learned from the story, what jumped out at you or confused you about the reading. Most, if not all, will ask you to answer a reflective question from the reading. The journals should be typed in MLA style with a title. I don't need a header on these journals, but I do need a header on your papers, okay? Please keep up with your journals. We'll be turning one every week. So every week, in fact, actually at the beginning of the semester, I think it's every 2 weeks, you'll turn in a journal, and then it'll switch to a story a week. And so you'll be turning a journal in each week. If you want a really good example of a response journal, I would read pages 18 to 22 in your Arguing About Literature book, and that will show you what I'm looking for. Here's some of the course policies here, and you should read it at your leisure. One of the things that I really want to emphasize, which is highlighted, never, ever, 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 ever email me your papers. Even if D2L is down, even if D2L is still down at 11:59 p.m. and it's been down for an hour, do not email me your papers. I won't open them, and I will delete them, and I will not look at those papers. If I want you to email me a paper, I will ask you to email a paper. The quickest way for me to not see your paper is to email me your paper without me asking for it. So do not ever email me your papers. Also, technical issues don't excuse your work from being late. Always err toward the sides of being early with your work instead of being late. If you are on time with your work, you are actually late with your work. This class is actually really heavy on the discussion boards. A lot of the work we're doing is on the discussion boards. How I would play this is that I would do the reading on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I would rest on a Wednesday and a Thursday. I would do the discussion boards on a Thursday or Friday. Get that done. I would hang out on Saturday. On Sunday, I would write your journal for the week, and look at the discussion board, see what other people are saying. Maybe it'll jog something for your journal. Write it on the Sunday, turn it in, and then rest on Monday. And that's how I would play the week. You don't want to do all the work on one day. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. And one more thing about the journals. The journals actually help you do your research papers, or your papers. There are 2 papers for the class. And they actually help you with the papers. If you do the journals in earnest, and you really use the journals as a way to try to understand the pieces, to ask questions of the works that we are reading, then they will help you with your papers later on. If you're just doing the journals just to do them, and you just are going to write a page about something and not really do it in earnest, you're just writing a page just to turn something in, then when it comes paper time and you have to write 4 pages on something, you're going to look at the screen thinking, I don't understand what I'm going to do. So you really want to work on these journals in earnest. All right, so this is how to make an A in my class. You want to log in every day, every single day to you want to look at every day to the class. And I know you're like, every day I have to work. I gotcha. For the first couple of weeks, log in every day, because every day I'll say something. I'll update something. I'll reveal something. I'll answer some questions. I want to make sure that you guys are on it and understanding kind of the rhythm of the class. So log in every single day. Even if it's for like 5 seconds. Say like you want to log in like after work or something. Log in after work for 5 minutes. See if there's anything new you don't know. I could be announcing extra credit. I could be announcing, that you have an extra week for your paper. You don't know what I'm going to be announcing. So you may want to sign in like for 5 minutes every day, just really quickly, look through the app or something. Oh, anything Professor Fernandez said? Okay, no, there's nothing new. Fine, I'll go the next day. Just make sure you do that and you read the news section. Again, never, ever, ever email me your work. To be successful in this class, you want to be curious and you want to ask questions. Some of the topics that we'll be covering in this class are actually topics that are happening right now in the public discourse. And so you want to be curious and you want to keep an open mind to opinions and people's opinions. You do want to be courteous to everyone, and you do want to be respectful, but you also want to be curious and you want to ask people questions and ask questions of the pieces that we are reading. Some of these pieces are not easy, and when I say not easy, I'm not saying that they're difficult to understand. I'm saying that they're bringing up questions that are not easy to think about and don't have a right or wrong answer. So you want to think about those things that these pieces are bringing up. If there's something that kind of rubs you the wrong way, something that you're not completely understanding, if it's bringing up a topic that is making you mad or making you think or infuriating you or making you happy or just making you think deep thoughts, that's what you want to write about in your journals. And you use those opportunities to write about those deep thoughts or those things that infuriate you and why. Don't just say that it makes you mad or makes you sad or makes you happy. Ask why. Why, and be specific. Why specifically does this make you mad? Or gives you some sort of feeling, makes you feel a certain way, right? So this is how everything breaks down. Your quizzes and your homework, which is, your quizzes and your homework, is 20%. Discussions are also worth 20%. Your essays are worth 25%. So your essays, you only have 2 essays here, and they're worth, a big deal. You have journals. Your journal's worth 20%, and your final is worth 15%. So let's talk about the course schedule. So what you want to understand is that your deadlines are in each module in the checklist. So each module, so each week when you open it up, your week's worth of work, the first thing you should be a checklist. This is the checklist for the week, and this is when everything is due, and this is links to everything that you need links to. So those checklists are going to give you the deadlines. Also, what you want to see, and we'll check here in a minute, that some of your papers already have deadlines, like some of your journals already have deadlines. So you want to check to see what those deadlines are, and I'll show you where those are in a minute. So what I have here is how, in general, these weeks break down, and I have it by topic or by the piece that we are reading for the week. So we're reading a letter from Birmingham Jail, which is the first thing you read in this class. Is from Dr. Martin Luther King, and we actually have some good audio that talks about that. We learn about civil disobedience, and we read Harris and Bergeron. We do 2 weeks of Harris and Bergeron, which is a short story. I think you're going to like it. And then we start going to 1 week. Capital Punishment is a poem. We do that in 1 week. Monstrous, which you have a copy of. If you haven't bought a copy, you should buy it because we're going to use it. We're going to look at the narrative part, the actual story, and we're actually going to look at the visuals. So if you've never read comics or a graphic novel, you may want to Google how and see how to read one. I do have a video in this module that shows you how to read one, but if you wanted to get a jump on it, please do. We talk about social issues in week 9, and then we talk on different types of social issues based on these stories and the supplemental readings of these stories. Then we have a final paper that is due, and that's part of the adaptation and interpretation and your final. All right? So let's go back up, and I'm going to show you a couple more things in your course here. So, of course, your discussions are in each module, but if you wanted to go straight to a discussion for the week and not go through the module, you can go to them directly. So the week 1 is already open. Week 7 is not open yet. I'll actually fix that before you guys get to it, now that I saw it. And then you want to go into assignments to see what papers are due when. Okay? Now, I was in the middle of putting the finishing touches of your class when I did this video. So when you see this, you'll see some dates from a previous semester. So don't get alarmed. Nothing was due in January. Okay, so you see that your first journal is due. It opens the 28th, right? I gave you all this time, and then it's due on the 17th. The next journal opens on the 25th and it's due on the 1st. The next one is on the 2nd and the 8th. And so on. No, it's not closed. I will reopen these. No worries. I will fix these before you get a chance to see this. Okay? And then you have your social issues exploration paper, and then you have your courage paper, which will also be here as well. Here we go. And so you'll get dates for those as well. So not only do you have your deadlines in the module, you also have them here. Let's look at the first module, so you get to see what I'm talking about. And again, I was right in the middle of finishing this when I started the video. So this is your first module, and then you have a checklist. Your checklist is here. You get to click on your checklist when it becomes open, which is tomorrow. And, well, when you see this, it'll be today. And then you'll see what the first step is. And you have to do an introduction here, step 2, step 3, step 4, and there are several steps in each module. All right, and this is your week's worth of work. Alright, so this, my friends, is your course for the semester. I hope you enjoyed our little tour here. I'm going to go ahead and sign off so I can finish some things so you can see what you need to see and see what you don't need to see quite yet. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, you know where the syllabus is, and so I would make good use of that. Alright guys, see you later.